Hi guys, Monish Faye here and welcome back to my channel. If you're not already subscribed, go ahead and do so now so you don't miss any more of my videos. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys some tips and tricks on how I personally dress in the earthy bohemian style. Also, I'm sick, so please just bear with me, but I did want to put a small disclaimer that this is my own personal take. It has my own personal flair to this, so how I perceive and how I style the earthy bohemian look might look different not only from other creators, but also from how you might see it or view it, and that is perfectly fine. Even with my tips and tricks, you should be adding your own personal flair to make it more you and more authentic. These tips and tricks aren't necessarily supposed to be a mold, it's just things to add to you in your own personal style, and I'm going to make a whole video on personal style in the upcoming weeks, so if you're not subscribed, make sure you do that. But let's go ahead and get started. Before we begin, you're probably wondering, what is the earthy girl aesthetic? According to an AI overview, the earthy girl aesthetic is a style that uses natural influences to create a look that's close to nature. It's inspired by the desire to connect with nature and is similar to the bohemian style, which is associated with a specific ideology and culture. When I think of earthy girl, two very different pictures come to mind. On one hand, you have the earthy girl that has the tube tops, all the bracelets, the long printed skirts, maybe has a bit more Afrocentric features in it. And then when I think of the other earthy girl, I think of the Indigo Luna earthy girl, right? She might have a little mini skirt, she's out in nature and whimsical. There's definitely like a whimsical element to it. And she still looks really cute, but she's out in nature and it's a bit more practical than the tube top and the long skirt. Now, this is my own view and perception of the earthy girl slash bohemian, and so I mix both elements into my look personally. So before I show you guys some of my earthy girl essentials, I did want to get into some tips and tricks and some things to keep in mind when you're looking at pieces and how to make it a little bit more earthy. My first tip and trick is to focus on a color palette. This is essential for making any wardrobe cohesive, but you really want to focus on earthy tones, of course, for the earthy bohemian look. Now, this is going to look different for everyone because everyone has different skin tones and they have different colors that look good on them. So you not only need to figure out what colors look good on you, but you need to figure out what colors you actually like and what colors you want to wear. So focus on building a color palette with earthy tones that resonate with you and look good on you. My second biggest tip on really achieving that earthy bohemian look is to focus on natural fibers. Now, naturally, natural fibers also have texture. Things like wool and leather, these are all different textures, and mixing textures looks so good and so earthy in my personal opinion. So when I'm out thrifting and I'm out looking for new pieces, I always check the fabric content. And if a tag doesn't have a fabric content, then I'll usually leave it behind. I do have, I think, one or two items that are not natural fibers in my wardrobe, and they're usually because they're just super cool and rare pieces. So that's something to keep in mind. You can definitely have pieces that aren't natural fibers, but I tend to not overcrowd my wardrobe with them. Most of my wardrobe is natural fibers, and I think I really only have one or two that aren't. So natural fibers like silk, leather, linen, wool are all really great fibers to look out for when you're shopping. Also, another fabric that I do like to wear is viscose, which is made from bamboo. There's some controversy around that, but I'm not here to get into that. I do enjoy wearing it, and it is technically a natural fiber. And again, don't forget to mix your natural fibers. I think my favorite combination is probably linen and leather. I don't know what it is about it, but it is such a great combination, and it really stands out, and you can really see the different textures, and I just love that look. So like, maybe a linen mini dress with like a leather harness on top. I feel like that's so earthy, and I just love the look of it. Also, adding natural elements into your looks really help as well. So things like shells, seashells comes from the ocean, that's natural. Wood buttons, I know I get a lot of sweaters and things and they always come with plastic buttons. One of my favorite things to do is to take out the plastic buttons and replace them with like coconut shell buttons or wood buttons. It just gives it a little bit more of an earthy look. Another tip is to thrift the majority of your wardrobe. I feel like a lot of times thrifting gets a bad rep. You can't find high quality things. It's not worth it. It's dirty, etc. but at the end of the day, 1, it's more sustainable. 2, you will find really cool, unique pieces. And 3, it's an absolute myth that you can't find high quality pieces at the thrift store. And if you're someone who doesn't like thrifting in person, there are so many options to do it online. For example, you can go on to apps like Depop, Poshmark, Mercari. You can also do online thrifting like eBay or ThreadUp. There are so many options to get things secondhand. There's really no reason not to. If this is something that you're just starting to get into and you're kind of experimenting with and you're trying to figure out what you like and what you don't like, I highly recommend thrifting the majority of your wardrobe. And I still thrift the majority of my wardrobe. Now let's get into some of my personal earthy/bohemian essentials. When it comes to tops, they tend to be more on the plainer side. I like to either pick the top or the bottom to be more patterned. And for some reason, I just like having my bottoms more patterned versus my tops. So I have lots of plain tops in different earthy colors, and this helps me mix and match with my different patterned skirts. Another really big essential in my wardrobe are going to be skirts. So I'm one of those people that no matter where I am, I'm never going to turn down a good adventure over not ruining what I'm wearing. I hope that makes sense. I have been on dates, I have been around the city, and if someone is like, hey, let's go check out this hike, or let's go do this, or let's go do that, I'm never gonna say, no, I can't because I'm not dressed for that. I'm just gonna go and do it because life is too short. So I see skirts as kind of just like a very practical thing in my wardrobe. Not only does it help me look very feminine and cute, but I'm also ready for anything at any moment. And I usually get my skirts from Indigo Luna. I think both of my skirts are actually from Indigo Luna. And this other thing also goes hand in hand with the skirts. I have cotton biker shorts. Now I will wear these on their own, but I also put them under every single skirt or dress that I ever wear. Again, it just helps me be a little bit more ready for anything that may come. It makes me feel more comfortable and secure. So mini dresses are definitely a must. I really try to go for dresses that make me feel kind of nymph-like. That's the idea, that's the thought in my head whenever I'm going for a mini dress. Does it make me feel like a fairy? Do I feel like a nymph? That's what's going through my head personally. Now, for the earthy bohemian aesthetic, you could also stick to more printed dresses. So long skirts are another staple within my wardrobe. I used to not because I am petite, so I used to stick to like really short mini skirts, which I still do wear, but I have lately been getting into the longer skirts. I do feel like it kind of elongates you, especially if you have a tube top. In the winter months where you can't just have a tube top on, I'm still kind of figuring out how to style them to my liking. Another essential that should be in your wardrobe are statement pieces, and this is going to go back to your personal style. I like fairies, so one of the things that I incorporated into my look is this leather bag. It's in earth tones, but it also has like a butterfly, and I feel like it reads very fairy-ish to me, and it's a statement bag. I also have a scarf that has mushrooms on it. Again, I think it kind of goes with the whole fairy idea, and that also is a statement scarf within my wardrobe. So if you're someone who's really into mermaids, or maybe you're someone who's just really into the sea and oceans, then you can focus on looking for a bag that has those elements, but maybe in a more earthy tone that's in your color palette. Also, I feel like blue is kind of not seen as an earthy color, but the ocean is blue, and that is nature. So think of it like that when you're picking your color palette and you're picking your colors, things that are in nature and how do they go together. I don't wear blue because I don't think blue looks good on me and I don't really resonate with it. But if you're someone who likes blue, think of the water and sand. I think colors like blue and tan would go really well together because they go really well in nature. Sand is more of a tan color and then the ocean is blue. So think of elements like that when you're putting outfits together and you're thinking of color palette. Another really big essential within my wardrobe are my bracelets. They just add a bit of texture to any outfit. I love mixing my bracelets. Lots of my bracelets have different elements in them as well. So some of these will have wood, some of these will have natural stone. There's just so many things that are mixed in with these bracelets that it just gives it another layer of texture to an outfit. And I get all of my bracelets from Dreams in Between. It's actually my mother's shop. I will go ahead and link it below, but you can also ask her for like a custom bracelet trio, and usually I just have a bunch of different ones stacked, and then I also have some in like different colors. This is like my neutral bracelet colors, but if you wanted something like red or green, I have different like sets, so it can go with my outfit, but these are just like the basic ones that kind of go with everything. And also because they're stretchy, they're more slim to the arm, and so they're not really getting caught on things. And so I'll wear these hiking too. Like, these are I love my bracelets. Definitely a staple within my wardrobe. Another essential within my wardrobe are chain belts. And I know you guys have seen me style these a million times. I currently only have 2 chain belts. I'm hoping to get more, but it's really hard. I'm a really picky person, so it's really hard for me to find chain belts that I actually like. Chain belts are pretty versatile, and they're great to kind of add to the earthy boho aesthetic as well. They come in so many different varieties. The ones that I have, I just have one that's very plain and it's brass. I personally love circles, so that's why I got a circle chain belt. And it just goes with pretty much everything in my wardrobe because all of my jewelry is gold or like an antique gold like this. My other chain belt actually resembles waist beads, and I really like this because they're not waist beads, so they're not like permanently tied onto you, or there's no like tiny clasp that you have to deal with. It's just a much chunkier one, and also because it is chunkier and bigger, it can go on top of clothes during like the winter and fall months when it's a bit chillier and you're not going to have your midriff showing. So this is also another essential within my wardrobe. It's kind of like my bracelets. There's just so many different pieces and like elements to it, and it adds a little something. So this would probably fall under like a statement piece. Like, this is like my statement, you know, kind of chain belt. But chain belts come in so many different materials. You can find some made out of fabric. You can find some that are made out of leather. You can also find some made out of like seashells and wood. So there's so many potential to have like that element added into your wardrobe by doing a chain belt. And my last Earthy Girl essential are natural elements within your accessories. So I love a good pair of wood earrings, wood necklaces. If you're someone who likes shells, you could do shell bracelets, shell necklaces, adding those kind of elements that come from the earth onto your accessories really help create that earthy bohemian look. Also, things that just remind you of things out in nature. They don't necessarily have to be from nature. So for example, I have this one scarf that I really like, and it reminds me of moss. And that also kind of draws from my personal flair of like fairy. That looks so earthy to me because it's moss, and I love moss. And that's an element that I would add into my wardrobe, and it kind of just helps with all the natural fibers. Even though that scarf itself is not a natural fiber, it looks like an element from the earth, and it just kind of adds to my outfits. So I hope these tips were helpful. Leave a comment down below on what your favorite wardrobe essential is. Also, I am going to be doing a video soon on personal style, so if that's something that you struggle with, don't forget to like and subscribe so you guys don't miss any more of my content, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!